Yesterday was a day so full of miracles. It was almost scary funny. It was like, how can this continually happen to me? And then I remember, because I surrendered and I'm working with the other side. I'm going to try and explain this as best I can. A movie was brought to me that really helps bring this point home. I turn on the TV and I frequently go to YouTube. And YouTube kind of brings up the thing I need to see. A movie came up that I've never seen before called Final Cut with Robin Williams. And this movie is a great example of life. In this movie, Robin is a young boy and he's visiting somewhere and he finds this other young boy. They go out and they play and they go to this warehouse and this kid falls and Robin Williams' character thinks this kid is dead and it's his fault. So he carries that with him his entire life. Fast forward, the end of the movie, turns out the kid fell. What he saw was blood, was actually grease or paint. And so the guy actually lived and everything was fine. Yeah. But this man lived his entire life believing this horrible thing happened. And it was that thing inside of him that you all have. Every single one of us has those things inside of us that we will never share with another human being whatsoever. It's that thing, it's icky, it's dark, it was scary, whatever it was. It was that thing that we experienced and it stained us. It put a marker on our heart, and we cannot get away from it now, no matter how we get old. This is what my work is about. I am working with 5 young women in Jacksonville. It's pretty crazy how they all appeared one after the other on the same side of the street, on the same 2 blocks. I have 5 young women, I'd say 35 and under, maybe 30 and under, who have found me. And every time I show up, which is not very often, they say, wow, I prayed and you showed up. That's how my life works. When you're ready for help, when you need answers and you ask and you really want to hear the answers, people like me will appear. We do every time, but you've got to get out of your way. I know so many of you did so many things that you cannot forget about, forgive yourself for, whatever the words are. Like the girl who had the affair with her boss. It was just a few times. And then it was over and she continued to work and life went on. She's keeping this in her world and her husband doesn't know, but somebody else knows. And she knows this ticking time bomb at any time can go off. Her husband can find out and her world's going to go boom. Everything in her life is over because she did something a long time ago. Oops, it happened. And then her whole world is going to explode. Her husband will probably leave and everything will be over. You take these things as the thing that did you in. I call them lessons. People who go to church call them sins. The truth is, we come to earth imperfect. There is no such thing as perfect. We come to earth to be born. Yes, we are born into a family, but we're not supposed to stay there. And then we go out and about and we find things to do. And we're going to do things that don't feel good. Every single thing you do that doesn't feel good, you remember that. It's like if you ate something and it tasted horrible, what is the chance you're ever going to put that thing in your mouth again? You're not, because it was so bad. Why would you? There's a lot of people in this planet, let's say Robin Williams or the girl who had the affair or anybody who did anything. You did that one thing. You had one moment of being human and you think you made a mistake. You screwed up. No, you were human. We're not supposed to be doing the marriage and all the other stuff. There is no such thing as sin. We come here as a human to be born out of a body, out of a test tube. It doesn't matter how we got here. To be placed on this planet, we learn how to stand on our feet. We get an idea by the helpers, the nurturers, what's good to eat, what's not good to eat, what to stay away from food-wise. But nobody tells us in this world what you should or shouldn't believe or what you should or shouldn't do. Because you already know you're born as a perfect package of perfection. You truly are. The world has created it to where they call it sin. So if you're married, you cannot have sex with someone else. You can't think of someone else. You can't do all these things. Everything you do that you're not supposed to do is a sin. And depending on what religion, the sins can be much more traumatic and much more detrimental in the eyes of God, because he'll do you in if you sin really, really bad, according to church. There is no such thing as sin. We come here as imperfect beings to climb into a skin bag and to find our path. Along the way, we're going to taste things that don't taste good. We're going to get electrocuted by that little fence. We'll know things not to do again. Natural consequences. I'm not going to go too long into the family situation because that's completely wrong. Hearing anybody tell you what is good or bad or anything else, it can never work. You're going to live through their lens. You're going to want to stay in a bubble because you're going to be scared to death to live life on your own. Everything that happens in your life, from the moment you're born till the moment you die, is recorded in the Akashic Records, just like the Robin Williams movie, Final Cut. Everything is recorded, and from start to finish in that movie, the cutter sees every little nasty thought you had, all the affairs, all the shit you did that you thought you got away with, but they cut it all out. And I think in the movie, they make it seem like, well, I know it makes it seem like for the people watching the memorial, like, oh, look at the good man. And for what they also believed in the movie was the little girl said, make sure my dad on the other side doesn't remember I wrote on the contract with a red crayon. But the truth is, since we are always consciousness 100% of the time, when we slither into this thing here, our skin bag, and we come into human, we are consciousness, but we're in a body that cannot communicate. So we're alive in there. We're like bouncing around like being a spirit in a rock, and the rock really can't do much about being a spirit because it's a rock. So once you climb into the body of a baby, you're still what I am right now, but you're stuck in a baby's body with the ability to communicate like, you try and say things, it comes out, blah. You learn this over time. You learn how to use that body, but we know our way. And as infants, without the influence of humans that we have, as we have it now, with the nurturers just showing us how to eat, drink, potty, poo, and walk and talk and maybe run. But there is absolutely no input from these influencers on what is. You should do this, you shouldn't do that. You should go there, you shouldn't go there. You are born an immaculate, clean slate, and that's what I am back to, but I had to erase 60 years of programming to get back to the immaculate space where we are when we are born. I have none of my family story within me. I hold on to nothing. I have zero friends. I have zero family. And it is crazy because I share every day. And those people that I was in their life at some point, they still want to come back to me and say, you're wrong. I met them at some point on the journey, but I'm light years beyond them. And they are all stuck in their story. They park their spirit somewhere where they know there's so much more to this planet, but they are in a situation where they're not willing to release the hands they are holding. In order to get to where you were, your factory condition when you were born, before you started being told by your parents and your neighbors and your preacher what is, you can get there, but you have to leave everybody. You will get back to your reset, and I'm helping you get there. Within seconds, I can help you erase the programming your family put on you. It's like plunging a toilet. It'll be flushed, and you're going to see the light. You're going to think, oh my God, how was I so lost? Because it is all we have known on this planet for thousands of years. You're born into a situation where there's the boob and there's the guy, but it has only become the family structure that it is over this last century. Because previously you had lots of children. You just made babies because you needed help to survive. And we don't need help to survive anymore. Now you have lots of children because you're bored off your ass and you don't know what to do with yourself. You've taken up all the hobbies you can. You don't know what to do, so you bring children in so you can say, I'll ruin their lives. I'll tell them who they are and what they should or shouldn't do. And everything you tell them they should or shouldn't do is coming from you, and it's a lie. Your felt sense experience is yours, but a lot of that, you heard it from someone else. Children are born to step into their greatness and not be told what to do. If you don't do that, they become who they are at a very early age. They find their village. They know how to move around and migrate. The world is a delicious, wonderful place. Everything in the world, as you know it, is man-made. Everything is a creation of the world that is the world of families, clusters. So we already know what that is. So I want to focus more on life where I live. When I stepped away years ago, and first I became present before I even walked out of the house of Puyallup, I was 100% present all the time, staring down the street. It's a practice like everything else, like guitar, like piano. I had to practice no thought. I became a master at no thought. And you don't believe that's possible. Why do you think everybody says be present and mindful? Because it is what you want. That was the first thing I went through. And then when I went to Newport, present, mindful, and then just the guidance, when you're open, your clogged pipes are clear, you're told, do this. And I've always been a willing egg that when I'm told go do it, I go do it because I love to see what happens when I do that thing I'm guided to do. Like yesterday, I went to this store and Keel suggested I go get a sandwich there, but I ended up getting the teriyaki chicken based on his recommendation. I went back to thank him and asked him to be 2 for 2. Where do I go for a watering hole? And he hit it out of the park. I get miracles because I go where I'm guided and it bounces me to the next place and then it bounces me back and then it bounces me there. I am 100% present 100% of the day. When something comes in, I'm deployed, or I'm making a video, or I'm doing a post, or I'm writing in the book. Then I'm back to silence. It took me years to get here because I had to start from scratch. I had no one to show me the way. Every story that I entered during my life, and I entered more than most. Ask Connie. I had a friend once named Connie. I think she died. I'm not sure. But every story I entered became a compartment where I processed it. I dealt with the big freaking story that I had to live with. And then I went away. She looked at me like, she goes, you have like compartments. You had so many stories because I've had to live through every possible slice of hell so I could experience every slice of hell so I could step out of it and show you how to do it. I did it the long way. I took the machete and paved the path. That was the first book I wrote, Becoming Immaculate. That was just how I got here. And then from there, the first book, Man is Ruining His Own Nest, that was a complete channeled text in 2.5 weeks, explained what's wrong with our planet from God. In Man is Ruining His Own Nest, the first words in the book are the 10 Commandments rewritten. Carrie from Henderson couldn't have come up with that. No, I sit silent and I dictate and it's like, whoa, so that happened. So one thing that I think I want to qualify, because I refer to where I'm hearing from as God, because I never had church growing up. There's no words. There are no words for any of this. It's an energy language. And so trying to make it something I can squeeze into a box for you to understand is not easy. But God is not church. There's no religion. There's no holy. There's none of that, cross, any of that. No. God is you and me, her, every single one of us. When our body's no longer here, we are God. We are all one big universe of consciousness. You can't imagine. That's why just make a vision. Everything, look at space. Just zillions of stars, that is us. And each one of us is a different color, a different something, because we are sparks of consciousness, but we are snowflakes. We are unique. And when we come to Earth, we slither through a birth canal or a test tube or whatever to slither through because there's something we want to come here to learn. There's some skill or passion or earth lesson we want to experience, and that's why we come. But the world has become such that we can't get there. It takes people their whole life to, and that's what I've done, but most of us never will. So God is all of us without the body, because with the body and the brain and heart, as you referred to it, there's so much hate and sorrow and anger and jealousy and madness because we all do these things that make everybody angry because everybody's living this same story, believing this same stuff. And when you step away from it and you realize, oh God, no, we're not supposed to ever get married. Or it's like, if we just stepped into our story like I've done, like from birth, not have a family that tells us who we are, not have a school program, not have all of these things that are told to us. Men designed it because when you're young and you're at your most sexual peak, when you're a young child, this is where church comes in, because men in charge said, let's tell these people, if you touch yourself, it's naughty. If you do anything, it's naughty. If you look at somebody that way, it's naughty. Meanwhile, they're doing it all the time because they want control. And by telling you, you can't do the most natural thing in the world to you, by saying you can't do it, everybody has different drives and desires, but they took away your fundamental right to be human. All of your rights to be human are stripped from you. Because these men, and they're coming through right now. Thank you. I knew I need to have help. I asked him to. I didn't know what I was going to do. Okay. When I was on the mountain and I made those videos about things I'd never thought about. About what we're already equal. Why are we fighting for rights? It's because I do feel, I know it. I already know it myself. But I didn't know it like I do now. And the fact that I saw us owning slaves and how we own children, it's like there is no technology, everything your world has now. There is no possible way, unless we have a worldwide blackout, for anyone to find their way to what I found. And the bliss, the peace, the love. People are finding me. They're plugging into me. And I'm going to bring them along because they see my light and they see their darkness and they want to be light. These are just the first people I get to touch in person. Not like you think. They found me because they saw me and they prayed and I showed up. But the world is upside down because we've been put in boxes. The taking of the name, it's like, I know we all romanticized about it. We were children. We all wrote that boy's last name with ours. It's just as a kid, that's what you have to look forward to. Even though your mother's beaten, your dad left, your mom hit you, everything happens. That's the way it's supposed to be. You look at it, that's life, but that's not the way life is supposed to be. So we have a world where people believe they're supposed to get married and stay married. And so they get married multiple times because you can't find the right person because you keep changing. There's no way you can ever find the match that's going to fit you for life. There's nothing I enjoy more than walking through this town because there's a lot of tourists and seeing all these people stare at me, the women. And then when they're in front and then the man goes by, oh, the looks. It's like they see my energy, they see my light, they see that I don't give a shit about them. They see that, and their wives don't see what they see. But every one of these men are in a story where they're stuck with her and they agreed to it. And they're like trying to make a lemonade. But damn, it'd be fun to do a dance with that one for a hot minute. And you should. You should do a dance with that one for a minute because you should not be with that person. We all come to do what I did. It took me decades to get here, but I did. And in doing so, oh my God, it's just, I cannot ever be ill. I'm a teenager. I'm a young kid in this body. There's no illness. Doctors don't exist in my world. It just is magic. But we bought the cow. We bought it because we're little. We grow up on it. And that's why younger people right now are the best because they're on the verge of suicide, a lot of different things. Because they're told, find the partner, get married. You've gone through all these steps and you feel like you're broken because you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong because you can't find the thing you need. But that's not the case. We don't come here to be in families and to be somebody else's child. Listen to Matthias Di Stefano. He does a great job of very detailed describing the afterlife and everything. I learned a lot from him. What I'm sharing is how you want to be here, and it's not hard. You just have to be one with God, and God is not an entity. It's not a guy with a robe. There's no devil. There's no darkness. There's no sending of the earth, fire, anything. Everything is love and light, but you get put in stories. You have to trudge through hell, and you do. But you see the path. You're always seeing it. I'm getting this now. Every single one of you is always getting clues. You always get it. But you have to stay with the family. You will never follow that clue. And all I ever did was follow those clues. That thing, every single one of you gets them. Thank you, because I know you do. I figured you have to, because, oh my God, my life was just overcome with turn that way, go here, go there. But whenever I did the earthly duty, the thing, responsibility, job, insurance, that thing, like my ex said the other day, he said, I don't know anything about my kid. I don't care. Nothing matters to me. All he offers when he wants to throw something about what this person is up to is what job she is doing. Nothing. And that's the world at issue, guys. It's like my sister-in-law, his sister died, and she wrote a book about deforestation, and it died with her. If I did all this and I was in that marriage, all this would be buried with me. That's the world you live in. People like me have the light to the way out, the light to heaven, whatever you want to call it. I don't mind using that because heaven is designed as beautiful, like God is all that is. They're all just words to be where you are when you live from this space. When you live from this space to where every single person that you believed you were responsible for their feelings, you tried to check in, you had to do what you had to do until you cut that cord. When you do, it's like you have no idea how much pain and garbage you were carrying because of those people you thought you were responsible for. And my work gives us an umbrella instantly after you know that the men who did this are screaming to come out to tell you they did this. It's all written in my book, The Bridge. How they did this, what they did, how they covered us up. If you just start living from that, knowing that men did this and they created church full of men and those men reinforced, but those men are dead. So the men doing it now aren't really sure why they're doing it, and they don't speak to God like many of us do. They're doing a job they went to college for, and they have issues, they have stories. None of them live from God's space as I do. I am an agent for God. And my life is just light. I live filled with helium. I am not around people, and I'm around people less and less because I'm just done. I'm in a town that I love now. So I'm staying away from it because I like it here and I don't want to be known around here. This is a place I want to be because it's a tourist town. I can get lost in a tiny town, and I could just go to Medford and get lost. But we are love and light. And when we let it all go and we live from the space, everything that you held on to that, I'm going to read that label, that's not good for me, so you can't have that, that's bad for you. All of that is garbage. Nothing can hurt you. The only thing that can hurt you are thoughts in your head. And when you do as I did, the first thing you do is you erase them, you stop them from coming. You go into a Zen-like state that becomes your way of life. You're like this always. And when you hear something, you do it. We are in this body, which I get to stay in now. I could be here for another 100 years, guys. I can stay here as long as it takes to get this word across. I get to stay here so I could show people now, and people would start learning from this and thinking, oh my God, I let that woman be my mother, and I was like listening to her, and she made me feel like shit my whole life, and I took it. You don't have to take anything. You are a spirit. You are a God spark, but you're in a skin bag that stepped into a story that was created because of the men who were born thousands of years ago that created this story, because some of them were insecure and weak. And there was a few insecure and weak women who did not want to be the big, strong women like I am, my neighbor in Puyallup. They wanted to be weak. And so those men were able to confirm a few women. And then those women told two friends and so on and so on. So women started romanticizing the idea of not being the ones that having to use their brains to do all this stuff. They're just going to lay low for a while. They're going to do nothing. And then the big strong men are going to take over, and women love that. That is where this started. And now look at us. We were all like me back then, and the men were used for sex and heavy lifting, and every man I've had a conversation with since that time has said they would give up their life in a heartbeat to do that. Have you met any men who wouldn't? That's all they want to do. And women, you know how powerful we are, how we get things done. We don't even have to think about it. We all have that thing that we do really, really well, men and women. And that's all we need to do is that thing we do really, really well. We live in a world where we have those that rise well, but then we have to make them compete against each other, make it a category, and put a ring around it. That's what's got to stop. When you just do you, and nobody tells you the rules for how you do you, you elevate to that magical space that is you. And then that snowflake goes there, and that snowflake, and that snowflake, and that snowflake. But in the world you live in, oh, it's about competing and getting to the top and having money. The last thing you want to do is find ways to make money. If you surrender, and if you lose $3,000 there, $300,000 there, just let it go, because just trust with that mustard seed of faith that anyone who went to church knows about, and I did not know, but that's all I've had, and that's what I've lived through, and that's why I'm where I am. Every time I hit rock bottom, it was like I knew, okay, this is as bad as it's going to get. It can't be any worse than this. And I would bounce, and then I would hit another rock bottom. I had to hit a lot of rock bottoms to get out of where I was. 3 times suicidal, wrote the note, went on a cruise to jump off. Had too much fun, too much life happened. I want to share this experience again because this is really huge. You are all so plugged into the world that you're looking for permission, appreciation, respect. You're looking for approval from everybody. And when you do that, you're never going to become your best self. Somebody from my childhood, my horrible childhood, poked her head up recently and said, I can't be who I am. And I absolutely love this when you do this because it reminds me who you are. When you knew me, any one of you, and this one in particular, she knew me when I looked like this. I don't look like that anymore. When you look like that, you feel like that. And that was also someone who was tortured and abused. The outside was a hot mess, but the inside was toxic. It was a complete disaster. That's what she knew me from. I didn't have religion. Apparently she went to church. I didn't know she knew that God speak. But she comes at me, judging me, telling me that, oh no, you're wrong. Your God's not the right God. And I'm always like, and I love when people tell me I can't be who I am. I'm like, oh my God, then who am I? It's like you guys are coming at me with daggers, throwing stuff. Mostly the people you knew, the people that were in your life are the ones who are going to throw the daggers and come at you with knives because they knew you at a time where you can't be up here. You were here, but then you're here. And so there's no way you can be there. And they are so lost in their world that you've triggered something in them because they're still there. Oh, I'm not. And so when they come at you, it's not about you. It's them. You've triggered something that opened up something in them. And that is a beautiful gift that I give them because you've got to be triggered and find out why you're triggered to find your next step. Because you got to hit rock bottom with these things. You cannot hide from you. You cannot run from you. Everything in your reality, every harm you've done, every person you have hurt, you're going to understand how you made them feel. And that's where I lived a really good life and I've done nothing to hurt anybody. People have thought I did, and that was their insecurities. The only thing I did that I questioned and I feel bad about, no, I don't now. My sister Donna was always doing things wrong and always getting in trouble. We all got spanked until she admitted it, and then Lynn and I would leave. In our trailer, when I was in 3rd grade, I wrote the word shit behind a book on the wall, paneling, in pencil. It was found, so we all got taken and got beaten, and Lynn and I left, and Donna finished it off. Donna admitted it. That was the only thing I've done. I couldn't do anything to hurt anything. I save animals. I save flies. I save spiders. I only come from love. I always have. That's all I've ever been. And when I surrendered years ago, it's been a decade now, and I said my life isn't working. I just had the worst incident in a doctor's office. I evacuated it. It's like, I'm never going to be sick again. I'm done with this. So I was walking on the sidewalk, and I said, my life isn't working. I don't know who you are, but I know you're there. I give you my life right now, and I'm done. I give you my life. I surrender. I did. I was done. I was like, I'll stand here until hell freezes over. But instantaneously, it was go that way. And when that happens to you, when you're in the state like I am, when you're like, you're ready for the answers, they show up. But I don't have family. I don't have people. I don't have anybody telling me who I am. But this person from school, and this is something you really need to listen to. Take it to heart. I post on social media because I have no communication with the outside world. I have a lot of social media accounts and I post, but I can't ever look at the comments. I did get a shot at one of these the other day, and it was comments of men going, oh my God, hey baby, want to do it? And it's like, they don't even know who I am. And they're hitting on me. That makes me sick. It's like, I do have a friend who's beautiful and she's making herself more beautiful. And I hope she realizes nobody hears a word she's saying. The people who need to hear me are the ones that are finding me. And that's why you don't look back at messages. You don't look at comments. Because if you do, just as an example, say you're me on this journey. I mean, there's so many times I've been on the pinnacle. It's like I'm crossing over to my next big step. And if I look down to like, I'm not going to say her name, this woman said, and it was just like something insulting, like, but it's just out of the blue. She's in a bad mood, pissy old gross woman from Wisconsin. She's like dirty and gross. She makes some compliment, you know, and it was like, I glanced at it and for a second, it was like a shard. And I was reminded, I will never go back to comments. Never look to see if anybody likes my stuff. Never, I can't look at anything because when you do go back, you're looking for approval. And if they don't approve, you just got a nail in your coffin. You're handing the world your power. What I received came from God, the other side, whatever you want to call it. Alden delivered me here when he died. Meeting him is what connected me to this guy. Couldn't play my clog pipes. I had to meet him in person to become what I am. And since then, with him behind me, whoa, it's like it's endless what you can do when you unclog and you connect to source and you become fully who you are. And you're one with God. We're just all sparks of consciousness. Matthias DiStefano, look him up. We are just floating around in the universe. I feel like I'm full of helium as I walk amongst you because I see you all down there poking at each other. That man and wife yesterday, he goes back to the child, said, yeah, the ball and chain just left to his child. This is the world you live in. The world I live in, when something gets icky, it doesn't become a ball and chain because I would not keep it with me. If it's icky, I let it go. Step away from everybody. Give it a long time. Just remember, you are the only reason you were born here. All of those people you're plugged into, the relationships, the stories, none of them exist. It was created by these men. If you didn't have to think you had to find a partner, if you didn't look forward to having that last name, you would have stepped into your glory a very long time ago. But you were told these things and you were watching the movies and the Disney shows that reinforced it. So when you don't get exposed to that as a child, when you're taken to the forest and the river and the mountains and you get to go play in it and see what turns your crank, you meet the other kids who are doing the same thing and you become friends. And then you go to those caretakers. Those caretakers, the kids find each other and then they become those people who rule the world from love because they're not growing up to become attorneys or doctors because I don't need that stuff. Oh, I need attorneys galore, but I come from love and I have God, so why would I? I come from God, I am provided for. It's miraculous how, but when you're in surrender, everything miraculous shows up. That is the way the world works. When you step away from the world you live in and you have that mustard seed of hope and faith that you can do this, but when you do it with them, there's conditions and expectations and you can't get up there carrying those. You have to do this alone. I did this alone and it took a lifetime. I took the machete and I paved the path for every one of us. It was not easy. It was absolutely miserable. It was hell. But I'm done. I've written all the books about it. They're all written. 2 are published, but the big stuff is still right here. Yeah. It's all important. It's all critical. But you are this. You are what I am. And when you see me in person, when you are in front of me and you feel my energy, you're going to want to hitch your star to my wagon immediately. Just ask those 5 girls who've done that. They're going to be my little army that's just getting started. And one of them, I have met my right hand. She came up to me, stuck her arm out, said, my name is this, and I'm going to be your... I just like, oh my God, thank God for you. She was delivered to me right here in this town. Your other life is waiting for you, the one you came here to live. But it's not with those people. It's not with the job. It's not with the friends. It's not with the degree. It's with those fantasies you had as a child, those things that were dark in your heart that you weren't allowed to say out loud, those places you wanted to go but you couldn't because it would have been bad and icky because they don't approve of that. Who you were born to be is who you are. What those relatives were, the cop, the marin or whatever, that you thought, oh, I want to be that. No, be alone. Get rid of your phone. Use it for dictation. It's magical. Sit on the beach, sit on a mountain, go back in time and dictate what you were when you were a kid. Tell your story. When I was, first things I remember are what? And go back even further because it's going to come to you. Go back to what you saw yourself doing in the games you played all by yourself, because that's what we do as kids. We pretend. We pretend our adult life, and then they take it away from us. We grow up, and it's gone. We pretend it for a hot minute, and then we have to erase it because we have to live by their rules. There are no rules. There is no hate. There's no anything. Every emotion you see on an emotion chart doesn't exist. It's all love. The only emotion is when something feels icky, go the other way. No food can hurt you. Nothing can hurt you. Anything that you believe is true is. If you believe there's bad guys out there, there are. If you believe that guy's after you, he's going to hurt you, there are. If you believe you need humans to survive, you do, but you don't. Oh God, you don't. The biggest thing in the world is being alone and trusting you know the way and just shutting up and surrendering and saying, show me, let me be alone. Let me see what my gifts are. Let me unfold and see who I am. And then for the little people, let's do that for them now. Don't put them in what you went through. Don't put them on selfies with you. They're not yours. Put them out in the woods and follow them. Just follow them and then let them find their way. Let them find their own friends for the love of God. Don't put them in private school. We know the way. And the world is shifting. I don't know how long I have to do this. Like I said, it could be a century of me being right here saying, okay, here we go with whatever technology we have then. But I have discovered the path. I've discovered a whole new world right here on earth. And I've written the bridge, which is at least 1,500 pages and 7 volumes. I think it's so much more than that by now. I just received it. I experienced every bit of it. And I live on the other side. I live on the other side. And I will close with that mountain. Just focus on it. Look at it. There, I lived on the other side, but then I went through the 4D soup. And I just kept going. I just followed my path. I followed what felt good. Listen to Abraham Hicks. Follow the good feeling thoughts. That's all I did. And I stopped thinking. I'm not crazy or weird. I stopped thinking. I followed the intuition and I found it here. You can't do it. So you want to look at me and tell me I can't do this, but I already did it. I already did it. There's no coming down from here. Once you're here, it's like I live, it's from heaven on earth. It's like I'm already in my heaven. I can't get sick. I'm as heavenly as your heaven is going to be when you die. But I get to do it while I'm still carrying around my body. So I get to have fun being a human that really affects people. You can do that too, especially all you women that are constantly looking for eyes like, please love me, please love me. I want him to love me. When you stop needing that and you start taking care of you, you start following your path and plan and feel who you are and go, wow, I'm pretty fucking amazing. Watch how many men want you, but then you won't want them. You don't want them or need them. You don't. It's really magical here. Everything is provided for. You don't need to do anything. But I am a weirdo because I have to do this to show you guys the way. And there's people I've met that I thought, oh my God, I'd love to be the friend with this person. But I've come to them because they need me. And so I send them what I'm supposed to send them. I'm instructed what to send them. And it's like, I know I will stay away from them because I know that if they see me, it's a reminder that they have work to do. And I just stay away from those people. So I like it when I meet people organically and I know I'm not going to work with them. It's like they get to be my connections, but no one knows who I am yet. I wondered why I wasn't editing and apparently I'm not done recording. I was brought around to some other stuff I have to talk about. When I talk about being present, it means I have no thought. My brain is not active. That's why I can't do administrative tasks, looking to where I have to call banks. I can't. That's where I need an assistant more than ever. But I'm always like this. No music, no television, no news ever, no phone, ever. And it used to be long periods of time and then I would be deployed. But now I get to live and be active. But I'm still very silent and very present, and I don't like to be out much, and I don't like to be around people. I really can't do that now for a bit. I'm very present. It just means being right here, just me, the other side, no thought, just peace. If I ever stepped out of presence and thought, and like a normal human, gave my life a look, saw what condition my condition was in, if I looked down any hole to see where I was and where I could be if I wasn't doing absolutely nothing with no humans. It would drive a human crazy. It's like, but I need it. It was like, so I am a master. So I'm so far removed from that world. And the first season, I would call it, of my transformation was when I had to face an awakening that is huge for humans. But we're so wrapped around the stories, the family stories, the getting together, the stuff, because of the calendar and the holidays that have been created by us over these decades, years, hundreds, as being humans. The holidays, like the most lovely day of the year that nobody ever cries or is hurt, Valentine's Day, New Year's Day. Yeah, it's a new year, but we made it a holiday. And even the calendar's supposedly wrong. But we make these holidays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving. My first season was I was stuck in a recliner with a tailbone infection, so I couldn't do anything. And my family still went to have holidays. They left me. I wasn't leaving anybody at that point, but they left me. They went to have Thanksgiving with family in Portland. So I was there by myself, and it was like, so I made myself as best I could a turkey and a meal with not being able to walk and being hunched over and crying because I was in so much pain, totally loaded on painkillers. But it was like we get so wrapped around these days that we think how lonely I would be to not be with anybody. And then I thought we'd celebrated ourselves together when they got home. I think I did that. I think I had it ready for when they got home so I could have Thanksgiving with them. And so we wrap ourselves around needing these celebrations, these together times, and we seem to forget the bad times. But all of these are created because of the creation of family. And I haven't had any holiday in my life in over 4 years. Oh God, much longer than that. When you realize that you just kind of have to go, okay, they happened. I don't participate. I can cry and have a pity party, or I can do something else. I've had to do that every day. And so I had to practice not having holidays and accepting I was alone. And it was a big release because that takes the pressure off. And birthdays, oh, the worst one is anniversaries. Because when I hear people have been married a long time, it's like, oh my God, you haven't even started to find your journey yet. And when they die, when they're together, it's like, oh God, do-overs. All of us are on this path that I'm on. Every single one of us. And I know people love to argue with me. Your journey is not the same as mine, Carrie. No, I know that. The way I got here, you could not have handled. So you got that right. But we all end up at exactly the same place. And you know when you're here. Because you're in your body, and your body somehow becomes its most immaculate version, the one you wished you had when you were a big boobed, ate too many teeth, fat girl all through your childhood. I've got the body of my childhood dreams. I've got the life of my childhood dreams. I've got the hair of my childhood dreams. I've got the everything of my childhood dreams because I let go of the human story completely, including having holidays, celebrating with people. I've had to live life day to day, me and the sky, just knowing everything is always going to be okay because I have that mustard seed of faith that I'm on the path and I'm always firing from all cylinders. And I have to bring it back with this because I haven't talked about this enough. I started earlier. We are spirit, but we occupy this skin bag. Look at it as like that shiny new car, that new Camaro, that Mazda red thing. That thing you hop in, it's like, this is my ride. This is my ride. I'm Carrie. I've been around for centuries. This is my ride this time around. This time around, I find this path. I'm Carrie, who is ready for the biggest adventure of her life. And I've taken the journey all the way to the end. And I will finish with that meditation. I did a meditation long ago. And in that meditation, I was in the birthing room with my mother. I was in her belly, being born. I was in that birthing room, but I was also up in the corner with my spirit guide looking down on the situation. And the spirit guide is saying to me, it's like we're two little somethings sitting on the ledge. Spirit guide looks at me and says, are you sure you're ready for this lifetime and what you've signed up for? And I just remember that feeling, hell yes, I've got it this time. I've got it. And then I would go back into the birth canal and I would be inside the womb, which is fascinating. And then I'd hop out there. And I just remember looking and just knowing this was going to be one hell of a journey. It was going to be hard, but I had to hold on with everything I had, no matter what you said, no matter how much you want me to drop dead, no matter how much you wish I would shut up, no matter how much you want to throw me under a bus, because you're so afraid of losing people that you love. The bridge, a chapter came through on love and the demonstration of love. You guys haven't experienced love yet. You have need and want and responsibility and expectation and partnership and contracts and how much money we need. And don't abandon me. You're not supposed to be with anybody. You're supposed to do what everybody does when they abandon families. Just change the language. They went to find their journey. When they leave you, we always take it. It's like it's always about somebody else. Yes, there's a lot of assholes, and it's about them always having another partner, always leveling up to the looks department. But we are looking for who we are and what we came here to find. And I was just as guilty of this. Talk about insecure woman. It's like, not with Craig, because Craig wasn't going anywhere. But I was so insecure and like trusting, waiting for the other shoe to fall all the time, because life couldn't be like that. It had to be like, okay, who's he sleeping with? What's he doing? Like looking back, like, who cares? Who cares? But I was in a place of believing my life revolved around other people and they were responsible for my feelings, and they didn't care much for my feelings. And that didn't seem fair because I had to be responsible for their feelings, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. We're not responsible for anybody's feelings, but if you don't put yours on a pedestal and rise them to the top and only do you and think, you know what? I know you guys are supposed to be important to me, but you're doing you and you're not caring what happens to me. You got to do you. If you don't do you, trust that no one ever will. They will bury you with your story like my ex did his sister. Story doesn't matter. I made her story come to life. People like me who come from love and compassion and wanting everybody to thrive and survive and do well, we're the ones who are going to make this planet tick, giggle, roll around, and be happy again. Those who have to have money and pile the money and have the best jobs with certain income and certain retirement plans, their pencil's on the wrong column. It's like, why are you even going there? Just give in to you, give in to being alive, fully live. I found the way. I paved the path. It's unheard of. It's unlike anything you've ever imagined, but it's where you want to be. Maybe this is it. Maybe I'm done.